Good morning.
Hey.
Good morning.
We're a throuple.
I don't know what the word is. We have a guest today. I like trying to figure it out.
Cheers with my coffee.
Yeah. So that's a nice change. And then, Linda was here and we're like, cool, let's hop on and see what's going on in Linda's world too, right?
Exactly. How are you?
I'm good. Happy to be here. Always happy to be around the two of you.
Aw, we paid her to say that.
Big bucks.
So what's happening?
So what's happening in my world?
Yeah.
Business-wise?
Yeah, anyways.
Well, I finally got a chance to get back up here. It's been a long time. Business-wise, making some changes. Going back to my roots where my wheelhouse is the biggest. And
So is that considered a change, or is that just considered doing what you are really good at?
I think it's both.
Yeah.
I think it's both.
Experience.
I mean, I was kind of burnt out. So for those of I'm all about networking, everything networking, been training, speaking, coaching, running networking events forever. And I got a little burnt out.
Yeah.
So I needed to take that kind of a different route for a while. And when I looked at all the elements of what was the common denominator from everybody that I worked with, it was always one specific theme. So I decided to sort of niche into that area for a while. And it's so funny because I'm actually so I am a student of GIA many times over now. And as I'm going through it again this time, and we were doing this one exercise, frustratingly to me, because it's like kicking and screaming every step of the way, because it's like, no, I don't want to go back there. But yet it's so easy for me. And this one exercise was basically, what are you best known for? And when I really started asking people, it came back to everything networking. And it was like, you know what? I think I'm ready. I'm in a space now where I can take what I was doing with this other piece and I can really bring that into it and ramp it up in a bigger way this time. So yeah, a lot of new changes, bringing old stuff and making it all new again. So I guess
Everything
you would
old
say
is
everything comes back again.
There's a song in there somewhere.
Yeah, so it's
Everything old is new
gonna
again.
be a fun journey for a while.
cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, look
We
forward
talked
to it.
about it a lot last week. We talked about, people who just kind of forget what they do, because you're always thinking you need to bring something new, like something new on your profile, or I do this and I do this, and then they just forget what they are really known for and what they're good at, because it is so easy for you, right? It is so easy for you that you go, it's not that exciting.
Yeah.
And so I need to find something else to focus on. So I think that's the problem, and that's where people kind of get hung up on it. So great.
Yeah, well, I think that burnout part and then doing this other piece, it's exciting again to me.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is that it is becoming exciting again. And it flows so easy with my language, the way I speak to people, everything in my world. It's an exciting journey all over again.
And you know what else is exciting? We got Linda to watch F-Boy Island last night.
Oh my God. I have to tell you, the first 20 minutes, I was like, oh, another one of these kind of thing. I will be honest with you. They get into this stuff way more than I do. By the second episode, so addictive.
She was a super fan.
She was
I
like
was a
yelling at the
super
TV. She was like talking about the different characters by name. I'm like, do you know their names? I don't even know who that is. And she does. And we've watched it way more. So
Highly recommend if you're looking for some fun. Oh,
It was very
my
interesting.
Well, what's interesting to me about that dynamic is that, you shift who you're hanging around with. You go into their lair. You end up doing what they're doing, which sometimes, you forget, because sometimes you switch groups or you move to different, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that sometimes you're like, oh, I was missing this that I had fun doing. And
or you just don't know what you don't know, right? Like you didn't know the show existed,
No.
right?
No.
So when you're into your routine, you do your daily stuff, you watch your daily shows, whatever the case may be, and then all of a sudden your routine is interrupted.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's a good thing.
It's a great thing.
Always.
We're not telling you to go watch the show. That's not it.
Unless you want to.
Yeah, but we're very clear. We do our work all day and we're very focused. And then at night, we do not want to watch anything other than total pure ridiculousness, fun.
Yeah.
No brain work.
Yeah.
It's
No,
brain
you work hard, you
work.
play hard, right? And we want to laugh, we want to enjoy. We don't want to sit there and watch something that uses our brains because we've been using our brains all day.
Yeah. Well, it's
And that's
interesting
okay.
the point that Faye was making, that when you're hanging out with certain people, when COVID hit, I didn't get to see these guys a lot. And I think the last time that we really got to spend significant amount of time together was you introduced me to The Bachelor. That's how long ago it was.
That's a long time.
And I'm telling you, it feels like it's that who you hang out with or the people you surround yourself with, those core people. I haven't had so much fun in 2 days than I've had in a really long time. So it feels good to be home.
and it's something you should think about in every aspect of your life, right?
Mhm.
So if you've everyone neglected something during COVID and something they might have liked or a hobby or whatever. Now it's time to go, oh, remember when you used to do this and you enjoyed it. So now it's time to get out and do that as well. And same thing with business too. We switched our businesses and we worked remotely and we were all online. Maybe you enjoy going out to networking events or you enjoyed going to see clients live. You can bring that back in now because you're allowed.
Exactly. Well, I also think it's saying yes to opportunities because, so I was talking to my son yesterday, and I think through COVID and because of their ages and stuff, they've kind of second guessed some of the stuff that comes available to them. They're like, oh, I'm not really sure if I should do that. Adults, business people, we've kind of done, do I want to go to a networking event? Do I want to do this? Do I want to take on that opportunity because it'll only be online? What do I do? But I think we've come back to say yes and figure it out second.
Yeah.
When opportunities come up, you know what? Sometimes those opportunities only come up once.
Yeah.
Say yes, figure it out second. So yes, whether it's going back to networking events, whether it's working back in the office, whether you don't want to go back to the office, whatever the case may be, take that opportunity and do what makes sense for you, not out of sort of a fear place or I think that's where we were at during COVID. So I just think we're coming back to
because we
say
forget.
yes.
Yeah. And I like
We said no too much.
I like the fact actually that I've had the opportunity to do more online during COVID. So now I want to sort of balance out how much time do I want to be online? How much time do I really want to be with people live for whatever reason? I like that I have that experience because now I know both sides of it. And I can pick and choose what I want to do and when I want to do it and how I want to do it.
Right.
Exactly.
So I think that was a big learning curve over COVID for me.
Yeah.
But can I just bring up one thing about The Bachelorette?
The boring Bachelorette. Yeah.
So spoiler alert, if you have not seen it, put your headphones on. Just don't watch this part.
Yeah.
So at the very end of the last episode on Monday, and to be honest, it hasn't been very exciting. I'll be very transparent. We are literally going like they've got to do something. So what they did the last episode is they decided they were going to split. Right. So on this particular show, they had 2 bachelorettes and they were just all in all the time.
Yeah.
So they realized that it perhaps was going to impact their friendship. It was going to impact a lot of things. So they decided to split the group, meaning I'm going to have my own unique experience over here. And this other one was going to have their own unique experience. But what they had to do was figure out who was going to go with what girl.
Right.
And the interesting part, and this is where I don't know whether they thought love would trump friendship. I'm not sure what the boys were thinking.
Right.
I'll honor the fact that they were honest. So what ended up happening is one of the girls asked the guy, will you accept this rose? And he said no. He goes, no, I'm actually more interested in the other girl. So he then went back in line. The next girl didn't pick him. It happened a second time and it happened a third time.
Right.
So there's 3 guys that said no to the same girl and said, no, I would rather.
Who we love.
Yeah.
Totally shocked.
Very different girls.
Yeah.
So I was really shocked that 3 of them said no and said, no, I'm actually more interested in the other,
Right.
the other girl. But what was fascinating is before that, there was a fourth guy that actually said that same thing. I'm not interested in you. I'm interested in the other girl. And of course, that's going to happen. No issue, whatever. But do you know the 4 guys that were standing there at the end?
You got kicked out?
So they were expecting that the other girl would be like, oh,
Yeah.
you want me?
Yeah.
I'll pick you then. Come to my side.
Girls don't do that shit.
No.
And they didn't. So that was just very,
No.
I just thought that was a very interesting way that the show decided to separate things, script some of the stuff, so that it would end. They get to choose. And they did not choose the people who were more wishy-washy.
Well, I think it's a interesting dynamic because these guys assumed that the other girl would get them, and any girl listening to us right now will know that you would not do that to your friend. You're not gonna, even if you liked him, you're not going to pick him now because he totally disrespected her.
Yeah.
Like he could have just said yes and then seen what happened at the end or whatever, but like to just knowingly, think that, this girl's going to pick me. Not going to happen. Now, reverse with guys. Yeah, they would.
Yeah.
The guy wouldn't care. He would just go, oh yeah, she's into me. I'm going to take her. Girls don't. There's a girl code. Usually we would never cross that line because friendships are more important
Exactly.
than a potential possible maybe guy
that
you don't know.
No.
Yeah, that you
so-
don't know you don't know what they're like. But what I find interesting is that you guys are saying, that it's been sort of boring.
Yeah.
And I haven't been watching it at all because
No.
I just don't. I only watch it when I'm with them. But I found it interesting that because they did that split, there was some like, from this group. Well, from you guys, you were like, because you didn't expect that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you
It
read
was
ahead
still
or
boring,
whatever. It was still boring to you? Well, I found that part kind of exciting.
I
but
think
yes.
it was just because, again, we've moved on to different shows.
Yes.
And so, and like, I feel like, just like any kid, your attention span is, get the new shiny bling, and then we're going over there. So you have to, just like in business, you have to constantly be up in your game and go, you know what? Why isn't this working anymore? It's old and stale. So what can we do? There's an interesting, I don't know if you saw the post or the story this morning about Instagram. And so 2 of the biggest influencers are the 2 Kardashian girls, right? So Kylie is, I don't know, number 2 and Kim is number 7 in the world. Okay. So, so they posted a thing about, I wish Instagram would go back to being Instagram because they don't like the videos. And then this blew up all over the place. And I guess the CEO, whatever, of Instagram said, well, the fact is we'll be doing more and more videos. And I just thought it was really interesting. Their top 2 influencers are telling them they don't like the direction that Instagram is taking, right? They told them straight out and told their a gazillion followers, right? And they're saying, we like to have still pictures. We don't want to post videos. We don't want you to become TikTok. And Instagram's not listening, which is interesting because who is Instagram, Meta, Facebook? They're going to be very careful or you're going to go on the way of the dinosaur as well. Listen to your people.
Very, very much so, because I just feel like Instagram has become a little bit of a shiny object, meaning that I see that there's some success over here on TikTok with this. I'll embrace it. Even if you're looking at stories, I see success over on Snapchat with stories. We'll embrace stories. I see success over on TikTok with short videos. Okay, we'll introduce reels.
Yeah.
And they have actually come out and said that they are no longer a social media platform, is that they are a platform for content creators.
Right.
And that's exactly the positioning that TikTok took. However, the respect I have for TikTok is they said right from the beginning.
Yeah.
They are not a social media platform. No. They are a platform for content creators to create videos. Instagram was never supposed to be that. Instagram was, I'm not saying wasn't supposed to. Instagram is social media. They self-proclaimed they're a social media app in order for you to connect with people, and build relationships.
See pictures. As I think one of the Kardashians said, I just want to see pictures of my friends.
Right. And that's but that's fascinating that they're so focused on the shiny object of look at what all of these people are doing when their top influencers are making a statement saying that this is not what they enjoy. Yeah. And they're still saying no because they're following the shiny object that they think people are looking for. And we had a conversation yesterday about what types of content that we like to put out there. Do we like to do like short little videos? Would we rather, go live and have conversations? Do we want to have conversations online, build relationships in regards to building your network and stuff? So an interesting piece from that perspective is that, as you know, we are running the 5 Days to Fabulous in the Forest Summit coming up starting on August the 22nd. So we were looking for speakers. We have specific topics. We have a lot of speakers. We have 33 or something like that at this point, 30, somewhere between 30 and 35. I can't remember the exact number of speakers so far. But we had a couple of buckets that weren't being covered that we had sort of thought right from the beginning. So we started to look and we looked within our network, and we even looked sort of outside of our network. So what I started doing was messaging some people on Instagram. Spoiler alert in a minute. So I started messaging people on Instagram, and I was getting different responses. Some of them were like, it looks interesting, but I'm not available. Some people weren't getting back to me because of the way that Instagram works, is that if you're not connected to the person and they're not following you, it goes into a different messaging pocket, very similar to Facebook, because of course they're owned by the same company.
Right.
So then Faye had a great idea, I'll give you credit, and said, well, what about LinkedIn? Now, of course, I'm not sure why I didn't think of that, considering what I do and audit for years, but whatever. I'll just let that go. But I'll be completely honest and transparent. When I think of more of the people that would be fitting in my brain, the way it was thinking, they would probably be more likely to hang out on Instagram than they would be on LinkedIn, because they're more like maybe holistic practitioners, forest therapists, forest bathing, whatever the case may be.
But that's not what I thought
at all. Absolutely.
So for me, and it goes to the whole social platform dynamic. It's I had to come to a realization that I don't want to do videos on TikTok. Instagram was starting to bother me. I like stories. I'm finding stories really simple always to do, and it took me a while. I like posting. I'm not a big, Reels fan, because I feel like a lot of times Reels are forced. But I love the fact that on Instagram, you can talk to really good people, high level people that think they have an important enough company to actually list it on LinkedIn, because that's the differential, right?
Yeah.
So, they're just different. They're different people that you talk to.
And different platforms. So what I started doing immediately was I started looking for some of the buckets that we wanted to fill on LinkedIn. So I was sending messages. Now, again, LinkedIn, super smart, right? As soon as you send a message to somebody, it immediately goes into their inbox that you have a message, or it goes into the same inbox within the platform.
Right.
And I was getting responses right away. I was getting call for speaker applications right away. I would send them a link. They were asking questions, again, very responsive.
Right.
And what was really interesting is the numbers, because if you actually look at Instagram, maybe they didn't have as many followers on Instagram, but they have a huge network over on LinkedIn.
And a real company.
And a real company and associated with, and they are, a lot of them were and are, who are coming into the summit, professional speakers. They do professional, very well done workshops. We saw some of their stuff when they did the application process. So we know that they are really, really good people that we were attracting. So interesting, as soon as you switch your perspective in regards to what platform you're reaching out on, what does that do in the type of person that you're going to attract? And just the interaction, like maybe I can't do it, but here I'd like to recommend somebody else.
Which you would do on LinkedIn. You wouldn't do on anything else.
Exactly.
And I've had lots of people reach out to me on Instagram and Facebook, and I usually ignore it, because I usually think it's just some bot or something. But when somebody asks me to be on a summit or something on LinkedIn, I always respond. I always check it out. And the few that I've done, because I can't do many, but the few that I've done have invited me through LinkedIn. I've never been invited to one through Facebook or Instagram that I accepted. Yeah. So it's just understanding there's nothing wrong. We love all platforms,
absolutely.
But it's where are you focusing your time and what you want to do. So that was our, realization last week. I would rather write, articles and stuff on LinkedIn than do a reel. That's just who I am. And I had to accept that, right?
And own it.
It doesn't mean that. So reels are very, very good for a lot of people. And I'll still do them, but I'm not going to do them on a daily basis, right? So if you are that person, you love to do videos, awesome, right?
Yeah.
But if you're a person that would rather write newsletters and write articles and connect with different people, then do that.
Yeah.
And LinkedIn has a lot of great opportunities in regards to their newsletter now, article writing. They have a lot of different types of content now. They are getting into, they tried stories, and I'm really glad it didn't work out because it's just not for that platform.
No.
But they're coming up with, I think with the last thing I saw, they got a lot of controversy, which I was actually shocked how much controversy this particular item received, which was, if you go on Facebook, right, you can do the heart, you can do the wow, you can do the, sad, emojis kind of thing as a reaction. Well, on LinkedIn, they, professionalize their reactions, which is, congratulations, they have hands clapping or whatever. And they added a laughing one. Do you have any idea how much controversy that created within the LinkedIn community? Because I'm connected to all the people, all LinkedIn trainers, all of that kind of stuff. A lot of people are really upset about that. And I think it's very easy to be professional in an entertaining way.
Right.
Which means that I might say something that's funny. I know, I'm glad you were sitting for that. They might say something that's funny in an educational way. Yeah. It's okay to find something funny in a professional environment.
But I think why people were up in arms is because they did try stories. They tried to start doing these things, and people were like, "Hey, we don't want you to be Facebook or Instagram or anything." And I think people are holding that on, going, "Uh-oh, they're gonna start doing TikTok like videos next." So
I hope they don't.
I think it was just because the hardcore LinkedIn people were like, "Please don't go there." Yeah. Don't convert everything Facebook. Over. So
and that's the biggest thing.
It's viewed as the professional platform, right? And I guess, and depending on who the person is, do they think that laughing one is because people can be entertaining, or do they take it as it's like a sarcastic laugh,
Well, most of my laughs are sarcastic.
Yes.
So,
but that's
it's just becoming too Facebooky.
Yeah.
And that was everybody's comment. It's just too much, too similar to Facebook.
And that's a
learning
what
you are.
Learning for LinkedIn, just like that learning for Instagram, where Instagram's ignoring their biggest influencers. LinkedIn is they paid attention. They realized people were like, we hate stories, and they took them away.
Yeah. So very smart. And they have done that in the past as well. And now they're really ramping up the newsletters within LinkedIn, because you know what, that got really positive reviews. So they do listen to their beta group. Yeah. So well done, LinkedIn.
And that's what we'll be doing. We're going to start on LinkedIn as a newsletter as well, because I think it's important, again, to stick with some certain parameters and platforms. It doesn't mean the other ones aren't important. They are. But you don't have to feel guilty anymore about not being on TikTok, or you don't have to feel guilty about not doing reels. It's okay.
Well, do what makes sense for you. Create the content that makes sense for you. Because you know what's going to happen if you create the content that makes sense for you, your brand, and it comes from a place of integrity, is that content is going to be amazing. So if you're going to force yourself to do content, trust me, you don't want to see me do funky dances and all that kind of stuff on TikTok. I'm going to look uncomfortable. Yeah. And it's not going to be good content. So what's the point? Yeah. If you can write really good articles, that's not my strength. It's yours. Mm-hmm. So if you can write really great articles, then do that as your content. Yeah.
And it's simple to figure out is, do you feel comfortable doing it? Is it easy? Yeah. If it is easy for you, that's your thing. Right? Yeah. If it's easy for you to do videos, that's your thing. If it's easy for you to talk on a microphone, it's a podcast.
Do a podcast. There's so many different types of digital pieces of content now, and everybody's doing different things. Is that I feel like the rule book is a little bit being thrown out the window with a little bit of influence over sort of the latest fad.
Right.
But you're right. Really own. What's your favorite type of content to produce?
I like the one-on-ones and getting together. So, I don't produce a ton of content. I more reach out and have a conversation with somebody and say, hey, I liked your content, or that article that you wrote, or I really like that post that you did. I'd love to get to know you a little bit more better. Are you interested in having a one-on-one on Zoom?
That's great.
But that is another perfect way
Yeah.
of using social media that
Exactly.
not a lot of other people do,
Yeah.
is that exactly what she said, and actually having that conversation and reaching
Yeah.
out and having that 20-minute or whatever phone call or Zoom, whatever, online meeting.
Connection.
Yeah.
But that's another way of using social media. And that's the thing. There's so many different ways to use it that there's no rules anymore.
Yeah. And I just want to add on to that. So my biggest pet peeve is when people are on social media, especially like Instagram and Facebook, a lot of people really don't make it easy for you to get in touch with them.
Right.
They don't put their information in there. There's no email. There's a cute little Instagram name there. And I have to do some real research. And even then, some of the people I'd really like to have a conversation with, I can't find you. Make it easy for people to find you. If you want to be seen, make it easy for people to find you.
Yeah. Put your information in your profiles.
Yeah.
We've talked a lot about profiles in the past, but yes, your name, have it associated there.
Something.
I remember even, I think it was just this week that somebody goes, well, I can't make the summit because I'm on a training session for the next few weeks. However, so-and-so, but again, I couldn't find her because she referred me to her on Instagram, and I don't know what her Instagram handle is.
Right.
So you just have to be careful when you're doing your profiles and stuff like that to make it so that it's more branded to you, but thinking about the person who may not know.
Yeah, there was one person that I thought would be great for the 5 Days to Fabulous Summit. And I literally spent half an hour, which was way too much time, to try and find this person. And I clicked on her website, not there anymore. I went and I clicked on her YouTube channel, but there's no information to find her through there either. So when somebody wants to find you and you make it that hard for them, you're going to lose business.
Well,
You're
and
losing
you're
opportunity.
also, you know who they are and you can't find them.
Yeah.
So just
frustrating.
imagine somebody who doesn't know who they are and is trying to find them.
Yeah.
And you were like seeking out for a specific purchase. So yeah.
You're losing a lot of opportunities.
And just on the flip side, when you have all these contacts, like we all do, and we have, you can connect with us on Facebook on it. So just so you understand that I don't check everything. And I've already told you my secret. If you sent me a message on LinkedIn, I actually see it. Not that I'm there every day, but I actually see it. But you have to understand, just because somebody didn't answer you, it doesn't mean that they're ignoring you. It means that maybe they're not on Facebook 24/7. So with me in particular, I don't know any messages that ever get on Facebook. And so our social media person, our manager, always messages us and says, hey, you guys want to answer that person?
Yeah, but that's also understanding, who you're talking to, what platform would make sense for them, and where are they hanging out.
Yeah.
And sometimes it might come down to finding somebody's email and actually sending them an email. So I know a lot of people do make it very difficult because they don't want sort of the bots or the hackers
but you
or
can't
whatever.
Have everything.
Exactly. You've got to have it.
And so
there.
That's truly why a lot of times on Instagram, you don't get as many answers back because there's so many bots, right? There's so many bots. So we, even though I'm constantly saying, send me a DM, I will look at it because you get the alert, but Facebook, honestly, I never look at it. So, and that's just my habit, right? So you have to, if you really want to get a hold of somebody, go to all their stuff and then just try to figure out where do they look the most active, or where does it look like they're going to actually answer you?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So just because I have a TikTok account, but do you think I'd ever notice a message there? Well, there's no videos on my account. But would there ever be a message there for me? Could be. Will I ever see it? Never.
But that's not what TikTok's for.
Right.
There's the difference, right? You would never send someone a direct message on TikTok because that's not a place for social media, because it's just to create content and put it out there and like and comment.
People do.
Right. So because it gets a little, again, understanding where they are, when were they most recently there, where are they the most active? That's probably the place that you'll be able to message them and get a response.
So maybe one of your TikTok reels, if that's what they call them there, I'm not sure, because I'm still learning.
TikToks, Reels, or Instagram.
Okay, so maybe one of your TikToks needs to be about, if you want to find me on LinkedIn.
Maybe that's the only video I'll post. That would be a one
Yeah.
video, and there's nothing else on my. Then TikTok will probably kick me out.
I don't think I'd like that.
But that's your content.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but if I was running TikTok, I'd go, no TikTok for you.
All right, go back to your platform of choice, and we will see you next week.